Welcome everybody to the Entrepreneurship Journey podcast. Today I have a very, very, very special guest, the OG of Facebook advertising, someone I look up to massively. It's John Loomer. John, how you doing?
Dude, man, I'm so happy to be here. How you doing, Charlie? I'm good.
I'm good. So for everyone who doesn't know who you are, just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Where do we start there? I mean, look, I've when it comes to entrepreneurship and the Facebook journey, I worked with the NBA back in 2007 when we partnered with Facebook. So there were 50 million people on Facebook at the time. And that's when it just opened up to like the non-kids, right? All the old folks flooded it at that point. And so I was the first admin of the NBA's first official NBA Facebook group before there were pages. I mean, that's how old I am, right? So, but I fell in love with the platform the way it was, at least back then. And so, but I used it from a business perspective immediately. So as my kind of career path continued, I was always using Facebook and social media and whatnot. And I had left the NBA and then took a couple of jobs in some risky industries and got laid off twice and didn't know what I wanted to do. Didn't know how to start a business, but I just started a website and started writing about stuff, which slowly but surely started to be more and more about Facebook ads. And then next thing I knew, I was like, well, I've got a lot of traffic. Maybe I should sell something. And it exploded. Like,
Amazing.
It was completely unexpected for me because I really had no idea what I was doing. And, but so basically that was 2011 that I started it. And we're 11 years later, but there's been a lot of twists and turns, especially the last few years, and just trying to kind of recreate myself as like everything else is changing and evolving as well. And, short form video, and it's been quite the journey.
Definitely. I mean, we'll get onto that journey now so what would you say your greatest moment in your entrepreneurship journey has been to date?
Just looking back, I would say, look, there's so many fears I had to overcome to do it, not just the self-doubt, but like, I think my first kind of coming out was doing public speaking. Like, that's something I was petrified of doing. And I think when I did a social media marketing world session, and the place was just packed and
Amazing.
Standing room only and overflow. And that was the first time I had done any speaking. And it made me realize, like,
You're onto something.
I did something,
Amazing.
And it was pretty sweet. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. So I want to kind of flip it on its head here. So we've gone from like the greatest moment. What would you say your lowest moment in your entrepreneurship journey has been? What's been like the biggest struggle or a particular time where you're just like, this is so tough?
Well, it's funny because I've been in this so long, it's been kind of I've been on both sides of it now multiple times. So I would say in the early going, when I didn't really know that I was starting a business and I thought I was looking for a job, and I was just sitting there in front of my computer all day, not really sure what my direction was. And my wife sending me, here's a link to another job, apply for this. And I'm looking at it like, God, I don't want to do this crap. Like, especially like when I'd done stuff like working for the NBA, like, I don't want to do these crappy jobs. And, but I had a family to feed as well. So I think that period before I knew I had something was really scary. But I got to admit, like right now it's pretty scary too, because basically what I had was, that period of time of uncertainty, business exploded to the point where I really didn't even know what to do with it. It exploded. But I also had this growing family where I wanted to spend more time with my kids, wanted to coach the baseball teams, all that kind of stuff. So like I had no urge for like, let's travel the world, let's become famous and all this kind of stuff. Like I was just trying to maintain it the best I could. So part of that was probably making a lot of bad decisions in terms of like, let's keep doing it this way. Let's find the way that's most efficient. Keep doing it this way so I can spend more and more time with my family and work less and less. And it'll just keep churning it out, right? It'll just keep going. And like, so I've been doing things the same way for years, and I think honestly around COVID time really accelerated everything as far as also just kind of like my eagerness to sell stuff. Like when COVID hit, I'm like, it just kind of sucked the life out of me. And then, but yeah, so I'm in that next transitional period right now. Like I've got to figure some stuff out and turn it around. But I've been for the first time, I'm turning it. Like I'm willing to change because I have some of that same desperation that I had in the early going. I was like, I've got to make this work. So
yeah, I always refer to that as the fear. You know, it's something that every great entrepreneur has, that it kind of motivates them in a way. You know, I had it when I first started the agency. I was 22, moved out from living with my parents and moved into rented. Girlfriend, now wife, was, you know, a student, and I had to make it work. There was no other alternative. Like that fear was like, if this doesn't work, I'm gonna have to go find another agency job, and that's just not what I want to do. That's not the life I want to build. So I think that's something that a lot of entrepreneurs have in common, particularly when starting out or when there's these really big seismic changes in the industry, like we've seen with digital marketing and TikTok coming along, iOS changes for Facebook. You know, they completely flipped everything on its head. So yeah, I'm glad we found some common ground there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like I've long said that if I never got laid off, I never would have started a business, because I never would have had that desperation to make something work.
Do it.
And I just didn't think I could do it. Yeah.
So looking back at that time at younger John, what advice would you give to your younger self?
Man, I honestly, I think it's a matter of belief. Like, I don't think I ever had that standard for myself, thinking that I could do certain things. And I think, and I even carried this a little bit into like the early days of my business, where it's like I was always looking to other people and like, oh, they know better than I do. They've got it all figured out. I need to kind of emulate them and do what they do. And the reality is, like, everybody's figured it out. And I think, you know, younger John, believe in yourself, because, like, you definitely. Know, I think we all have some of these basic skills that make us prepared or not. And I had a lot of those basic skills and just didn't even realize it.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. I completely agree. It's like that. I had it very similar to yourself, that imposter syndrome, where you're like, why are people coming to me for that information? Like, surely, you know, there's all these other people that are crushing it, or, you know, why aren't people going to them? And yeah, like self-belief is so important.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely agree. So, final question then. What do you think of the current state of entrepreneurship on the internet? Passive income, hustle culture. You know, entrepreneurship's never been cooler or apparently easier to make money and just get super rich and successful. It's super easy, apparently, if you go by advice on the internet. So what do you make of it?
I think it really hasn't changed. You know, I mean, looking back, the only thing that's changed is like how easy it is for these messages to spread. Right? It's the same thing with politics, honestly. Like politics and misinformation, all that kind of stuff. It's more prevalent, I guess. But like when I was getting going, one of the things that set me apart, and I feel really lucky for, is that I saw all that happening then. I'm like, I don't want to be that. So I still even remember my first. I don't know if you even remember this. This had been like 2011-ish. But you could put a welcome tab on your Facebook page. On
your Facebook page, yeah, I remember that.
And it's like my first one, like. It's like no ninjas, no gurus, no, you know, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. It's the same kind of stuff now. Like I hated all that terminology. Like I want to separate myself from that. Like I never make any guarantees about what you're gonna get. Like I'm not telling you can get rich and all this kind of stuff. So it was a battle back then, and that's why I love, like, man, I love your TikTok and what you're doing there, because it's like you're saying the things directly that like I've indirectly been saying, but you just take it straight on, and it's awesome, because it's a problem, and like there are too many people though get kind of like the early us getting into it, like you want to listen to somebody and like, oh man, this person has it figured out, it's really easy, they say it's really easy, I could do it too. And that's what people want, right? They like they're in desperate times and want that easy solution. And it's too bad because I know that there are a lot of well-meaning people who get pulled into it, and I love that you're shining a light on it.
Thank you. Yeah, no, it is. It's something I've always felt exactly the same as yourself. I think that's something when I first started reading your blog and being on your email list, and the way you were just like no bullshit in terms of claims, and how it's like, hey, if you're interested in this, you can buy it. If not, no worries, that's fine. Like, you're not trying to make out that this is the be all and end all for every single person. It's going to get every single result, and satisfy that hope and desire that everyone has to become successful and build a life and a business that they'd be proud of. So yeah, I just finally got around to saying it, found a platform that works, and it's kind of resonated with people. So yeah, that's it's just mad what TikTok's done in such a short period of time. So I mean, this is completely unrelated. Like, those were obviously, we're still recording, but those were like the main questions. But I'm just also interested to know on, do you see TikTok advertising ever seriously competing with Facebook advertising? Because obviously they look the same. They look pretty similar. Everything's called the same. I just feel like TikTok hired a whole bunch of ex-Facebook engineers to build out their ad platform because it's so similar.
Well, did you see Audience Insights too?
No, I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, okay. So, and I think, look, everything's new to me, so I'm never really clear on what's actually new to the platform, because I just started advertising on TikTok over the last month and a half. Just started using TikTok over the last month and a half, and but I believe it's new. But it's basically not only called Audience Insights, and it looks like Audience Insights, but it functions the way the old Audience Insights did, which included being able to break down your custom audiences, which was Facebook took away because of like privacy concerns and all that kind of stuff. So I mean, it's like, now there are absolutely times where it's kind of a stripped down version of Facebook. Like, your audiences have to be at least 1,000 people to even target them, and like the custom audiences are just really wonky in terms of how you set them up. So look, from the surface level, like, it functions just like Facebook. Now, I really haven't started using it from a conversion standpoint. And like, that's my biggest question right now, is like, can you actually send traffic to your website and like, beyond like, oh, look at my nice shirt and this and that, can you sell product that, like for my business, for like an info product, could you actually sell it, or like a membership, something like that? I don't know. Can you build an email list? Can you do all these things? So can it? I'm not going to straight up say can it replace Facebook, because it's almost like some of my concerns with Facebook advertising generally is the way the optimization works is that unless you're optimizing for a purchase, Facebook will always find the easiest, cheapest, lowest quality thing to get you as many of those as possible. And the problem is, the way TikTok works is that's pretty much all of TikTok, right? Is engagement. It's people liking and commenting and following, and like, Facebook will flood you with those TikTok will flood you with those kinds of actions. But are any of them going to be helpful down the road? And so, I haven't really seen on the conversion side. That's still coming in my testing, but just as an advertiser, someone who's comfortable with Facebook, I'm like immediately comfortable in this environment. So I'm going to have fun at least experimenting with it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we found it works really well for typically lower price point e-commerce products. We got a low AOV, apparel. It works well for cosmetics. We've all of those kind of things that you would typically find on TikTok Shop, or like the native version of it. It's fine. We've had limited experience and somewhat success, I would say, with the more info-based businesses, the selling trainings, memberships, and so forth. I think where we've found most success with that is for a lot of like remarketing, a little bit less so new customer acquisition for cold. But then again, it then goes, okay, do we get people on list? You go lead magnet strategy, and then just do a lot of the heavy lifting through email marketing. And then it does become a more scalable front-end traffic source if you can get people on list that then later convert. So that's kind of a strategy we're testing at the moment with a number of clients. But it's the biggest thing's creative, we found. Like, you can't just take your Facebook creative or your Google, YouTube creative, anything like that, and just plop it on TikTok ads and think it's going to work, because it just doesn't. It's got to feel native TikTok. And I think that's where a lot of brands struggle, because they're like, oh, I'm just used to creating ads. Whereas now you're just creating TikToks and amplifying them through paid media, through their ad platform, to find more people that already resonated with it from an organic perspective. At least that's how we approach it and what seems to be working well.
Yeah, and I think what's probably good for me is like I'm approaching this similar to how I approached like my business 11 years ago, where it's like I wasn't really trying to sell anything. And I think that's the way you have to approach like a new platform in the first place. Like all I'm really trying to do is to build my brand right now and just create. And honestly, part of the reason to create is just like so I can learn how to use it, because like I'm still figuring it out. Like I'm not Charlie Lawrence. I can't get hundreds of thousands of followers like that. So I'm no magician, but so I'm just going to keep creating, and learn from it and apply that to, I end up with the ads right now. I'm just promoting the stuff that I create. But I think that's a mistake a lot of marketers make generally, is like their goal is just to sell. And look, if you're e-com, I get it, but like everything that they create is like, oh, buy my stuff. And like after a while, it's like, okay, man, I get it.
Yeah.
But
there's only so much like buy my stuff messaging you can put in front of people before they get annoyed. You've got it's the classic Gary Vee model, isn't it? Like jab, right hook. You just got to, particularly in info-based businesses, like just give. Like, you've got your free webinars, you've got your whole blog, and then, if that all resonates with someone, then there is obviously your membership, and that's just the next level of information and access. And yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, but still just trying to find what that angle is from TikTok, for me, because it's completely new. I've been all about blogs and driving traffic to my website for a decade, and now, and it took me a long time to come around to this, because it's an understanding of I'm not sending you to my website anymore, and I'm not able to measure that on my website anymore, and that's a tough adjustment. But it's been good to learn this format, at least. Like US may ban it, who knows, TikTok, but I at least got that knowledge for. Not to make you scared.
That panics me a bit. Like I see, I think 35% of people that follow me are from the US. Like, it's our biggest country in terms of number of followers. And I'm like, oh, please don't ban it. Like, we've only just cracked something organically. It's taken me 9 years to get to this point, and I'm just like, oh, come on, just give me a good 2023 so we can just keep growing, and then move people over to email list and YouTube channel and diversity.
So are you trying to get people to your email list from TikTok right now?
Not email list just yet. Our primary one is YouTube. Like, we're trying to get people over to YouTube. So I started a new YouTube channel because my old one was just like a mishmash of content that just changed over time. And I think YouTube just didn't really know what it was. So it never got a good push organically in terms of views, even though we had about just under 3,000 subscribers on there. Every video would get like 100, 200, 300 views tops, and I was like, well, this is ridiculous. So we just started a new channel 2 weeks ago, beginning of November, and we're already at like 700 subscribers. We're getting views that are compounding over time. Like, we're already getting way more views in the first 5 days of posting a video than we did in literally like 94 days on the old channel. So we just want to get as many people over from TikTok to YouTube, because that's where we can do longer form. That's where there's an even greater attention span, and we can do side hustle series that I'm testing loads of different side hustles out, and do like Netflix style documentaries that we're creating for that, and really just go to that next level of entertaining content, basically.
Well, and that's kind of the beauty for you. You don't really have to monetize this, right? I mean, most of this is really about attracting attention for your agency. And so for that, it's like you can just create and have fun with it.
I mean, that's probably one of the biggest things that's like taken the pressure off. Like, we don't, and I'm not planning to monetize the organic side, like the TikTok audience or YouTube. We don't need to do it anyway in general. Like, all of my income comes from the agency. It'll be a very long time before organic TikTok and YouTube replaces that, if ever. So it's then like, okay, we can just create the most fun stuff, the best quality content for our audience, because then we got nothing to sell them. And I think that's what separated me a lot from reacting to all these people who were selling like affiliate marketing and drop shipping. They always had an ulterior motive to their content, whereas I don't. So that probably resonated with people. Like, I actually have nothing to sell you. The only way we're going to monetize TikTok is through very carefully selected brand deals, and that's it. TikTok Creator Fund pays nothing at all. we got almost 1 million views on Monday, on that one day, and I made pounds. What's that, like $dollars off 988,000 views? It's ridiculous. Like, it just pays you nothing. So that's never going to be an income stream, a sizable one. So yeah, we're just enjoying putting out content I would like to watch in general, and then if I was like at my younger self, what I would find valuable if I was just starting the agency again.
Yeah, and I think this is relevant to what you talk about with affiliate marketing and whatnot too. I mean, just kind of give people a sense. So that first year when I didn't really consider myself a business yet, but I needed to make money, I had AdSense on my site, and I basically, like, the products I was using, I would link to them and say, hey, this is an affiliate link, but like I wasn't like marketing their brand kind of thing, I wasn't selling their stuff, but which is probably worked out better for them that way. So at my peak, I was getting 400,000 page views a month.
Wow.
And
crazy.
And I was making, and I finally crossed over to like $10,000 a month in revenue from those things. So that's nice. But can you generate that kind of traffic?
Yeah.
I think that's the kind of thing you talk about a lot. Is like, oh yeah, just be an affiliate marketer and sell all this stuff, and like easy, I get 400,000 page views a month.
I know. That's crazy. That's the thing. People are like, oh, I've got something to sell. It means automatically people will like it and want to buy it. And it's like, well, no, you need to have the audience and the traffic sources to then generate that statistically significant number of clicks to then convert 1% into an affiliate purchase, which then obviously like I said, for $10,000, but 400,000 people. That's an insane amount of people, and I bet it was more profitable for you to sell your membership than it was to promote someone else's affiliate product.
And this was exactly the thing that struck me finally, and you bring it up all the time, is like, wow, this is really valuable to these people. And I even was like selling ad space on my website. Like, this is really valuable to these people. Like, maybe I could create my own product. And like, and once I created my own product, after a while, I was like, well, wait a minute. Like, this ad space is really valuable to these other brands. Like, what if I just used it for it's like, so for most of the last decade, there is no ad space on my website for anybody else but for me. Because I'm like, well, that's valuable space. And if it's valuable space, I need it. I need to use it. I need to sell stuff,
Yeah, definitely.
So I think that's what people have to understand is like, you need a lot of traffic in order to make money off affiliate marketing. But if you get a lot of traffic, you should be selling your own stuff.
Absolutely true. 100%. Yeah. Couldn't agree more. Yeah, that's wicked. Just in general, obviously, like whether we include this in clips or not, was there anything else you wanted to ask me? Like, can I help you in any way? Just...
No, I mean, doing this helps. I'm trying to get out there again, because talking about the last few years, basically what I did, like I said, I was trying to streamline everything, do less and less. So like, I wasn't on podcasts anymore. I feel like I just disconnected myself from like the marketing world,
But you did it.
So
like
doing this kind of stuff helps a lot.
Yeah, and I mean, you did it for a really important reason, one that I'm only recently experiencing. I've just had my wife's had our son, he's 15 months old, and I'm like, oh, there's this emotional pull that I never previously had in my life, where it's like, I do want to spend time with my family. I don't want to be that dad who's never present because he's always working. And so, I found in the last year, up until recently, taking more of a step back from the business to spend more time with him, particularly when they're in that newborn stage and you don't get any sleep and it's mad stressful and it's the hardest thing you ever really do, at least in my opinion. Like, you can probably hear him in the background. It's just that so I can completely understand why you're on that maintenance mode, because that you never get that quality family time back. Like, your kids are only young for so long. So
and that's what happened. Yeah. So that's why I'm able to refocus now, because like 2 of my kids are in college. My youngest is in high school. So it's like, which is crazy, when this all started, they're all little guys. But so I think the other thing I would say, like for you, don't make the mistake I made in that, because this happens. If like when you get more and more well known, like everybody wants a piece of you kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
So I just get flooded with emails and requests and this and that, and like I just stopped answering my emails. Like I stopped connecting with people generally, and it felt like I could do this on my own. I don't need everybody else kind of thing. I just stopped trusting people. And I think ultimately that hurt, right? So so now that I kind of need that, like, it's kind of, I'm in a bad spot. Like, I don't want to go groveling back to people. But so I think that's one of the things I'd say to you too, is like, as you're going through this, make sure you have your core group of people you trust and going to.
Yeah, definitely. Because you're right. There are just like endless amount of requests now of like, hey, can you do this? Can you, can we send you, like, we're getting weird ones now as a influencer. Like, can I send you free stuff? Like, someone wants to send me their free products, and I'm like, well, but like, I can't promise you I'm going to promote it. And it's just like, what? It's just like the influencer. And I always use influencer in air quotes because like, what is that? It's mad. So to me, it's always, number one, I just don't like the term influencer because I just stay away from that. But content creator, whatever you want to call it, it's now, it's like a completely new experience for me. Particularly, obviously, it's all videos. People see who I am. There's no, like, you can't really hide behind anything. And the internet's just an absolute savage place. And TikTok can be really savage as well. But luckily, I've been really fortunate. We haven't seen a really bad dark side. I'm sure that's just because I don't read 99% of comments. Because if you do, you'll just be in like a terrible spot. I'm just like, flat out. I'll respond to the good ones, all the bad ones, so they can just fuck off, basically. Like, that's not going to be bothered with it. So,
that's good.
That's
well, I think that, look, there are a whole bunch of things that contributed to me kind of cutting off. I would absolutely say that's one of them. Like, you get flooded with the good and the bad. You get a lot of, trolls and whatnot, the emails, negative stuff too. And then, like, after a while, you're like, I'm just not going to respond to any of this stuff anymore.
And, definitely.
Yeah, I get it.
So, to close this out, where can people find you?
Well, JohnLoomer.com is my home base. So otherwise, I'm trying to be everywhere for the most part right now. So at John Loomer on TikTok, John Loomer Digital on Facebook, at John Loomer on Instagram. And if you're interested in the community, though, as well, go to powerhittersclub.com. And we've got a core group of people there where we have weekly strategy sessions. Every Tuesday, I do a weekly webinar, keep everybody caught up on what's going on. If you want to do one-on-one sessions with me, you get a deep discount there too. So check that out.
Wicked. And absolutely, if you are interested in learning digital marketing, this is something I always say you should do. It's such a valuable skill to develop. John is the absolute GOAT. That's it. No one comes close. So go check his stuff out. Make sure you go to johnloomer.com, and you are in the safest, most trustworthy hands with John. His stuff's incredible. So I personally vouch for it. It's amazing. It taught me. So, it will easily teach everyone else who sees this 100%. So, thanks so much for joining us, John. And I will catch up with you soon.